When Athens was not even thought of, Kashi was. When Rome did not even exist in people's minds, Kashi was. When Egypt did not exist, Kashi was. That ancient. And they built a kind of a instrument in the form of a city, which is a kind of instrument which brings a union between the micro and the macro.
Once, Brahma, the Lord of creation, and Vishnu, the sustainer of the universe, got into argument about which of them was the more important. Seeing their quarrel grow intense, the other gods went and pleaded with Shiva to put an end to this futile battle. Shiva took the form of a huge column of light. Piercing through the earth, the fiery column blazed far into the sky and soared into the heavens. Astounded, Brahma and Vishnu decided to find the source and the height of this brilliant, mysterious pillar of light. Brahma took the form of a goose and flew high into the sky. Vishnu took the form of a boar and dug deep into the earth. They searched for the end of the pillar for many eons. Defeated and humbled, Vishnu returned with folded hands, surrendering to the eternal nature of Shiva. However, Brahma, not wanting to admit that he was defeated, decided to lie. He swore that he had seen the crown of the pillar, and the Ketaki flower bore false witness to his claim. Shiva, enraged at Brahma's lie, cursed him, saying that he would never receive worship. This is why, even today, there are no temples dedicated to Brahma. And that is how Kashi became the city of light.
Yantra means a machine or a mechanism. Normally every machine that we build, we have built essentially to enhance who we are. So whenever you create a machine, you're taking a certain part of the earth. Everything that we have created is dug out of this planet one way or the other. When you take material from this planet, there is a certain inertia to that machine. So when we think of something that has to function for perpetually or for an extraordinary length of time, we want to create a machine which does not have this need for inertia. So we try to create an energy machine. This is what you traditionally know as yantras. Yantras can be very simple yantras. A simple triangle is a basic yantra. Various types of arrangements can be done to build different levels of machines which will function for your well-being. So this Kashi is a phenomenal yantra, like never before or never after, to create a large human body, a magnificent human body which doesn't have the inertia of carrying physicality with it, so that it will be on all the time and it can just download the whole process. Solar system is like a potter's wheel. Because it's churning in a certain way, this manifested this way. This is a pot that has been churned out of this potter's wheel of solar system. So it's all very related. The diameter of the sun and the distance between the sun and the earth is 108 times. And within your own system, out of 114 chakras, 112 are in the physical body. But when it comes to doing something, there are only 108 that you can work with. The other four will just blossom if you nurture the rest. There's nothing to do about them. So there are 108 systems of yoga to activate 108 chakras in the body. The whole city was built like that. Because it's made of 5 elements and generally it's considered Shiva being a yogi and a Bhuteshwara, his number is 5. So, they built it to the dimensions of 5, the 5 kroshas and the diameter and the radius of the place is 5 kroshas. Like this, they built many layers. So this is showing you the fundamental geometry of Kashi. So, at the edge of the Ganga is where it begins, and these circles describe the parikrama, the outermost parikrama, totally measuring to 168 miles. The city itself is built like this, and temple is a smaller manifestation of that. This is the geometry of the original temple. It is absolutely complex. The core of it does not exist anymore. There are 72,000 shrines, the number of nadis. So they built 70,000 and they created sufficient corners around, angles around to make it multiply itself into 72,000. So it is the number of nadis in the human body. The whole process is like a manifestation of a mega human body to make contact with a larger cosmic body. Geometrically, a perfect manifestation of how the cosmos or the macrocosm and the microcosm can meet. They created an instrument in the form of a city. To create a tower of light, to create a connection with the cosmic manifestation, and here we are, the microcosm, to connect these two things, they created 468 temples. They're shrines. The basic temples are 54 for Shiva, 54 for Shakti or Devi. This is because in the human body itself we see that one half is Pingala, other is Ida, this is masculine, this is feminine. This is why Shiva being represented as half Ardhanarishwar, half female body and half male body. So they created the whole city like this body, and these 468 came because for 13 months in a year, in the lunar calendar, every 3 years there's an extra month. 13 months, and 9 planets into 4 directions or 4 fundamental elements. 5 elements are there, we don't do much about Akash. Your physical body is seen as 72% water, 12% earth, 6% air, 4% fire, another 6% is space. So if you have mastery over this, all yogic system comes from an essential science called Bhuta Shuddhi. That means mastering or cleansing the elements within you. If you take certain mastery over your elements, suddenly you will see wonderful things will happen to you. I can show you thousands of people who walked out of their physical ailments simply because they do some simple Bhuta Shuddhi process. So based on that, they created this. Whatever we saw as Sapta Rishi Puja, in Tandim, in 468 temples, these things would be happening. And it would create such a phenomenal energy that everybody was longing to be in this place. And if you're born in India, your only dream is to go to Kashi. And it not only became a spiritual center, this was a center for music, arts, craft, and a commercial center and an educational center. The greatest minds in this country came from this place. Albert Einstein said, the Western sciences, the modern science couldn't take a single step without the basis of Indian mathematics. And that mathematic came from this place. The basis for that mathematic is here. And these things, the yantra, the Vedas, they created the city is so meticulous. Geometrically, mathematically, it's so perfect, so absolutely perfect that everybody wanted to be here because it created such a phenomena around itself. It's a misfortune that we were not alive when it was in full glory. It must have been the most phenomenal place for it to draw people from across the world. People have been traveling here from across the world for thousands of years. Gautama came here to give his first teaching. The Chinese traveler who came after Gautama, he says, Nalanda University is just a small drop of knowledge that fell out of Kashi. And Nalanda University has still been recognized as the greatest place of learning, not only of those times, they say even in today's world, you cannot compare another university with this. There were 30,000 monks studying in Nalanda and over 10,000 faculty, all kinds of subjects, every kind, Eastern, Western, every kind of subject. Mathematics reached its highest peak. All the people that you hear of, Aryabhatas and so many others, they all came from this region, all generated by the culture that was alive in Kashi. This level of intelligence and human competence came because of this instrument which allowed them to make contact with dimensions which are not usually available to a human being. It is not something that they logically thought up. They saw the existence the way it is. By seeing the nature of the creation, human intelligence matured in ways that nobody had ever imagined possible. Even today, it's in common language, but they may not know what's behind this. They say Kashi is not on the ground, it is on Shiva's Trishul up there. Because they created a physical structure which in turn generated an energy structure. And the energy structure is not on the ground, it is above. So because of this, they said, Kashi is not on the earth, it is above the earth. So it's because of that this whole tradition came up. If you go to Kashi, that is it. You don't want to leave the place because when you get connected to the cosmic nature, why would you want to go anywhere else? According to iconographic proof, the oldest piece of iconography or a coin which depicts Shiva is about 12,400 years old, where Shiva is sitting in Siddhasana like this and with a bull next to him. 12,400 years ago, if they had to make a coin, by then he was already an icon. That means maybe there are a few thousand years before that. The legend of Kashi 100% goes by the fundamental that he himself lived here. This is his winter place. He lived as an ascetic in the upper regions of Himalayas. He liked it there. He didn't mind the cold. If it got too cold, he smeared himself with ash from the cremation grounds and that kept him going. But when he got married to a princess, compromises have to be made. And being a graceful man, he decided he will move to the plains, as this was the most fabulously built city of the time. Naturally, he decided his new bride and him should move to Kashi and no other place. And he moved to Kashi. He said, this is it, this is my abode. And he himself took the effort to consecrate the space into a powerful field of energy which still lives. There's a beautiful story. Shiva himself left Kashi because of some political reasons. Yes. There was a king called Divodasa. Divodasa became a phenomenal king. So, because the gods were afraid that Kashi may lose its reverberance if it's not properly managed, so they asked him to become the king. But he put a condition that if I have to be the king, Shiva has to leave the place. Because anyway people will go after him, I will sit in the palace, what kind of king am I? Shiva has to leave. So Shiva along with Parvati left to Mount Mandara. He went there and he could not stay. He wanted to come back to Kashi, but there's a political condition that he cannot come back to Kashi. So he said, get this Divodasa out, I want to go. So he sent 64 yoginis. He said, somehow corrupt the king. Once we find some fault in him, we can send him packing and I'll come back. They came here, they entrenched themselves all over the society, wanting to corrupt the society, but they loved the place so much, they forgot the mission. They didn't go back. Then he sent Surya Deva. He came here, he loved the place so much. People, all the Aditya temples are for him. He came and he loved it so much and he didn't go back. Then he sent Brahma. Brahma himself came and he loved it and he didn't go back. Then he said, I cannot trust any of these people. And he sent his own ganas. They cannot forget Shiva, they are his people. But they loved the place so much. They thought, this is the only place Shiva should live, not Mount Mandara. And they became Dwarapalakas of this city. They said, anyway he has to come, there's no point we going back. Then Divodasa was tempted with mukti. He did not fall for any kind of other things they created, corruptions. He was incorruptible, but he was tempted with mukti and he took it. Then Shiva came back. So, there's a temple called Avimukteshwara because Shiva promised he will never leave Kashi. Whatever happens, I will not leave Kashi. So these are all stories to tell you how much they long to be here, not because of pleasures, because of the possibility that the city offered. Because the city was not just a dwelling place, it was a mechanism to go beyond all limitations. It was a mechanism for this tiny little organism to connect with the larger organism of the cosmos.
Thank you. ऐसे एक वाक्य से कहानी होते हुए मिल करके सब लोग साथ साथ गाइए। श्री कृष्ण गोविंद हरे मुरारे हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेव। श्री कृष्ण गोविंद हरे मुरारे हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेव। एकनाथ स्वामी सखा हमारे, एकनाथ स्वामी सखा हमारे, हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेव। श्री कृष्ण गोविंद हरे मुरारे हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेव। बोलो श्री आनंद कंद भगवान की जय।